Hello, 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 sellers. It's Kathy, and I love to be selling on eBay. Come on in. Come on in. Those of you that are with me on my Facebook business page, I love to be selling. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And those that watch on my YouTube channel, Kathy Terrill, I love to be selling. Thank you. Be sure to hit subscribe. That way you're notified when I upload videos. And those of you that download my podcast, Kathy Terrill, I love to be selling. I so appreciate you. Thank you so much. So today's topic is what successful eBay sellers know that you don't know yet or may not know yet. And what got me going on this, I was reading a post on the eBay community boards. And this one seller was saying, sort of bragging, hey, my sales are so strong. I'm doing great. And I'm so sick of sellers that just complain about slow sales because, if you took that energy and you put it to work, basically you would be a successful seller like me. And I smiled. I smiled. And what went on was this seller was a very niche seller in media, which is great because they had found a niche that worked for them and they had found a process that worked for them. But what I felt like they were overlooking, and this is what I wanted to share with you, is oftentimes, first of all, when you start to sell, okay, what I always recommend to sellers when you're first starting to sell is sell things that are around your home or perhaps things that are given to you. Don't invest any money. Sell what you have in your personal, in your home, or again, is given to you. So there's no money invested. And look at what other things, are similar they're selling for. You want to price competitively and you list. And oftentimes what happens, which is nice, you'll get sales. And a lot of times because you have nothing invested, you haven't put any money up. So, if you're listing something for $20 or $30 or $40 and somebody offers you maybe a little bit less, you're like, sure, what the heck? Because you got it for free. So, you'll get some sales and you'll be excited. And then you'll start to go shopping because you'll run out of free things to sell and you're invested. And this is where it gets different. And sellers that are very experienced know this. So you might, from your personal possessions, let's say you were doing really well with women's clothing or kids' toys or something. So you go out to buy things in that category, which is smart because now you have experience in that category. And now you're going to invest in that category and you're going to buy things to flip. And you might sell very successfully women's clothing, kids' toys. It could be video games. Video games are very hot on eBay. And you'll sell for a while and then all of a sudden sales can stop. And that's what some of the people were commenting on. So you've done the best you know how. You've been sourcing in a category that you've been getting sales in, or perhaps several categories that you've been getting sales in, and then all of a sudden it stops. And it's scary. Whether you're selling part-time or full-time, you're looking at that money. It's either going towards a bill, right? If you're full-time, it's your mortgage, it's your car, right? It's a lot of things. And if you're part-time, it's money that you've dedicated for something. It could be a family vacation, but it could also be credit card debt. It could be that money you're setting aside for your kids' education or your own education. It could be a project that you've got. And all of a sudden the money's not coming in. And particularly when you've invested in inventory, you have several hundred, and for larger sellers, it could be several $1,000s invested in inventory, and the sales have stopped. And you need the money. And this is what successful sellers do. Yes, it is scary. And you go, yes, your sales have stopped. But then you dig in and you go, what can I do? And immediately the first thing, especially if it's a category that's been selling, immediately you go to check what are the prices. Because something can be still selling, but the price has dropped because there's more competition. And it could just be, for whatever reason, that category right now is very, very quiet. So it really isn't selling. So then you look at what other items do you have listed and you check them, and perhaps I can put energy into that. If the prices have dropped, which happens, and so you're looking at, let's say it's women's clothing and let's say it's Abercrombie brands, and it's still selling, or that style is still selling. It could be cold shoulder. It could be vintage tops, bright floral. It's still selling, but at 20 or 30% less than what it was selling before. And again, this could be just because a lot of other sellers are coming in. It can also be, and don't forget this, competition from other platforms, right? eBay is not the only place that sells women's clothing or video games or toys or whatever. And it could be, because it's hot on this other platform and it's selling for less. Do I want to, start to take a look at prices on other platforms? I did this. I mean, this was a while ago, but I had it was a new sealed Monopoly game, and Monopoly comes in a lot of different themes. And I thought it'd be a great item for Christmas, and I was the best price on eBay. Did my pictures, did my keyword research, listed it like in September, and by like early November, this thing hadn't moved. And it's like, there's Christmas shoppers. This thing should sell. This is a major brand. This is a great, this is a great gift. And so I searched on other sites, and it was on Amazon. It was only like $1 or $2 cheaper. But you know what? When I lowered my price so that I was just under the Amazon price, it sold in a week. Okay. So one, if it is a barcoded item, even if it's a style item, like it's a vintage item, but there's similar things on other sites, like with clothing, you want to be looking at Poshmark and Mercari and Depop. Am I competitive with the other sites? And then within the eBay family, am I competitive? If all of a sudden in my category, there's a bunch of sellers and they're doing 30-day returns, buyer pays, and I've been doing, I've been taking no returns, then you need to take a look at it. Do I want to compete with these people, or do I want to stick to the policy that I have when a lot of other people are offering something that might be more enticing to buyers than what I'm offering? So sellers know is to dig in, to check prices. If a category, for whatever reason, is really flatlining, and it does happen. This happens in fitness. I used to sell a lot of fitness. Fitness is incredibly trendy, and clothing can be too. So can toys, but incredibly trendy, right? Remember the Thigh Master? So it's hot, and then nobody cares. It's just like they don't care anymore. So if you're selling a trendy item, enjoy it, make your money, and know when to get out, okay? If you're selling in a category and all of a sudden it's still selling, I mean, you go, you look, you check solds, similar things, similar styles, similar colors, similar brands, similar sizes are selling, look at the price, okay? And also check within the category how many other similar items are listed. Because what can happen sometimes, and again, this will depend on a lot, there's similar things, but there's only a few. And there's a good sell-through rate on this. Like, this stuff sells pretty well. Then you might want to sit tight, let those people sell out, and then yours will sell at the slightly higher price. But it depends if you want to sit and wait the 5 months, the 6 months, or it could be a year, or whether you just want to be competitive price or go under the price, or do a better return policy. There's a lot of ways to do this, and get yours sold. And again, sometimes in a category of all of a sudden, there's a ton of competition that comes in. Again, it could be puzzles, it could be plushies, it could be toys. I got to look at, do I want to sort of sell what I have and get out and move into other categories? Like with the fitness, I'm trying to remember. Oh, I used to sell Bender balls. This was years ago. And again, just a lot of people came in and knocked off the product. And for whatever reason, the product they weren't defending it. So you know what? Thankfully, I only had like 30 or 40 left. I mean, I used to sell literally like 20 or 30 of these a day. And I had a really good source. It was completely legitimate. And because the knockoffs came in and the brand wasn't defending itself, I just dropped the price on mine, sold them, and got out. And I was still ahead of the game. So sales have stalled. I look at, is it the price? Is it my keywords? Do I need to expand the categories that I'm in? Do I need to get out of this category, which was and this can be hard because it's a category that you love, right? It's a category that you know, and either it's a lot of competition or just the prices have dropped so much, and this can happen, and you can't source, like you don't have a Goodwill bins. You may not have the church rummage sale where it's $1 for a bag or $2 for a bag, that the stores that you have access to, the prices are just more, and the margins, which is how much money you're making, isn't worth it. So then you move on and you look for what you can sell and make money at. I started with vintage VHS. Turner Classics bought out. A lot of the catalog issued it on DVD. So a lot of the older VHS wasn't worth, because you could get VHSs and sell them, some of them for $40, $50. Yes, there is still some of that, but it wasn't as much as before media, and now so much is streaming. So, sell it and get out. For me with the fitness, got a couple of really trendy hot items. And again, then the bottom fell out of that. You sell what you have, you still made a profit, get out and move on, right? And again, you look at the sources of inventory that you have. Is it thrifting? Is it friends and family? Don't forget retail stores. Retail stores clearance section can be really, really good. And all different kinds of retail stores. So always keep an eye out, even when you have inventory selling well, like the gentleman that was sharing, is you always want to keep an eye out. Is there a new store? Keep an eye out, like, oh, this looks really interesting, and check prices and see if you can make a few bucks at it. So even when you have successful inventory lines and styles of things and type of things you like, you're always on the lookout for the next big thing, because that's what keeps you successful. I had a really good friend that was selling a lot of Western clothing and sort of the urban cowboy look, rather than the people that work on the ranches. And what he shared with me was, besides the sources that he had, and he had really good sources, he was always looking for backups, like people that were basically, that he would buy a pallet, or he would buy a certain amount of, they didn't have like, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of the items. They maybe had 50 of this and 20 of that, little odds and ends, but he would grab them and sell them because he could do it as part of his line. So always looking for new sources of inventory, new things to offer, that with research, and that's another thing successful sellers do, check the numbers, right? You're using advanced search and using product research. Does it sell? And does it sell that you're making margins, the profit, that you cover your eBay fees, and also consider the time you're putting in? But successful sellers are successful because they are constantly pivoting, bringing in new inventory, testing new inventory, and you're not going to hit it on everything. And not all sellers will tell you that either, but the haul videos and they're like, oh, and I made 50 on this and 100 on this and 5 on this. And they don't always say, and I lost $5 on this and I lost $10 on this. You will lose money on some items. And that's why you keep an eye on the ones that you make good money on, because you can cover. And better sometimes to sort of, bite the bullet, so to speak, and get it sold. And you get either you're breaking even, you're getting your money back because now you can reinvest, or you take a little bit of a hit. Okay, like, but you know what? It's been sitting there for 3 years. It's like, take the money when they send you that offer, take it and run. And you're like, good, that finally sold. And then sometimes it sells at full price and you're like, yay, I was so smart to buy that, even though it sat there for 4 years. Always learning, always successful sellers, always learning, always listening, always testing, looking at numbers, trying things, bundling this, running a sale, doing coupons. Again, successful sellers learn. Successful sellers look at numbers. Yes, successful sellers cry. You're like, I'll get together with some friends and we're like, but you always look at, how can I turn this around? How can I turn this around? How do I get traffic? Is it my keywords? Is it social media? Is it my inventory selection? And always be willing to learn. Okay. Now, summer's coming. I wore my pink. We're being colorful in June, but it's good to think ahead. Okay. That's one thing that retail, and my background's retail. So I worked in some big brick and mortars here in New York City. The great thing with retail is they're always thinking ahead, next season, even 2 or 3 seasons ahead. And it's good to think ahead to summer, because for many sellers, it can slow down. You're like, it's summer, it's a slowdown, but it doesn't need to be. So for you, like we were talking about with inventory choices and keywords and sales, there are absolute strategies that work that can keep your sales strong if you want, because sometimes people want to kick back a little bit in the summer. So like, it's okay. If you're not one of those people, you're like, no, I don't want, I want my sales to stay strong. I've got car payments. I've got vacations to pay for. I want to beef up my savings account. Then you're going to want to grab this. So you go over to my website. I love to be selling. And what you're going to look for is this freebie I've got. It's top 10 tips to ignite your eBay summer sales, and grab it. It's loaded with tips, 10. So you literally go through and you can pick one that you want to focus on. You go, oh, that looks good to me, and use it. Just click it, download it. It's free. It's my gift to you. And you have 10 tips that will ignite, that work to attract traffic and get you sales. So grab it, enjoy it. And I'm Kathy, and I love to be selling. Bye-bye, everybody. Thanks for joining me.